Have you ever wondered how the universe always knows the right path to take, as if it has its own intelligence to solve complex problems without making mistakes? Imagine a rule so powerful that it can explain everything, from the movement of stars in the sky to the fastest route for a ball on a slide. This magical rule is behind almost everything that happens in physics, and understanding how it works will completely change the way you see the world. Get ready to discover the principle of least action, the brilliant solution that nature uses to operate with almost divine perfection. Click now to explore the mysteries of the universe. And who knows, maybe start seeing even everyday events through a new lens. Have you ever wondered why a ball rolling on the floor chooses exactly that path before stopping? Is it by chance? No. There's a magical rule in physics called the principle of least action, which shows how everything in the universe follows the most intelligent and efficient path possible. Think about it. Nature is like a super scientist that hates waste. From the movement of a ball to the dance of stars in the sky, everything decides the best way to happen using the least effort or energy. It's as if the universe has a perfect GPS, always choosing the most efficient route. Curious. Imagine a river winding through the land. It doesn't flow straight, but finds the path that uses the least energy to reach the sea. This logic applies to almost everything. Even light follows the fastest path, like a smart runner who always finds the perfect shortcut. And it doesn't stop there. The same principle explains everything from the movement of planets around the sun to the tiniest particles you can't even see. Everything is connected by this magical rule. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Understanding this is like discovering the secret of the universe. Now, imagine this. You're at the top of a slide and want to reach the ground as fast as possible. Which shape would be better? A straight slide or one that starts steep and then smooths out? It seems logical to think the straight path would be faster, right? But surprisingly, it's not. This question puzzled scientists for centuries, and the mystery was solved by Johann Bernoulli, a mathematician who loved challenges. He discovered that the fastest path isn't a straight line, but a special curve called a cycloid. Why? Because this curve allows gravity to help the object gain more speed at the beginning, making it reach the end in the shortest possible time. Now think about this. It's as if the slide knew exactly how to use gravity most efficiently. Isn't that amazing? This same principle is behind many modern inventions, like racetracks and optimized routes in transportation systems. Even more fascinating, this trick doesn't just work for slides. It shows up in other places, like the movement of light and even the design of rides in amusement parks. Physics is full of these hidden tricks, showing that the fastest path isn't always the most obvious. Impressive, right? Now let's see something even more magical: light. Have you ever noticed that when you look at an object in a pool, it seems to be in a different place? How is that possible? The answer lies in an incredible trick of light. It doesn't follow the shortest path, but the fastest one. Centuries ago, a brilliant mathematician named Pierre Fermat asked a simple but genius question. What if light chose the path that takes the least time to travel? It sounds crazy, but it was true. This idea helped explain why light changes direction when it enters water, and this discovery became known as Snell's law. Think about it. It's as if light were a very clever runner using a natural GPS. When it goes from air to water or from one material to another, it calculates the best path to arrive faster at its destination. Isn't that amazing? And the coolest part? This trick of light is behind many things we use every day, like glasses, lenses, telescopes, and even smartphone cameras. It all works because light always finds the most efficient route. Next time you're in a pool or looking at an aquarium, remember, the light reaching your eyes is doing invisible calculations to show you what's there in the fastest way possible. Now imagine this. You have a ball that needs to go from point A to point B. But it doesn't just want to be fast like light. It also wants to use as little energy as possible on the way. Sounds strange, right? After all, how does something choose what to do? But that's exactly the idea scientist Pierre Maupertuis explored. Maupertuis believed that nature is like an economic genius. It always finds a perfect balance between effort and outcome. He called this balance the principle of action. In other words, nature doesn't just care about time, but also the energy needed to make every movement, from a star spinning to a leaf falling to the ground. Think of it this way. It's as if the universe were a smart kid building a sandcastle. They want to finish quickly, but without using more effort than needed. So they choose the most efficient way to reach their goal without wasting even a grain of sand. What's fascinating? This principle works in everything. It's present when a bird chooses the best route to migrate, when water flows along the smoothest path in a river, or even when you walk, trying to save energy. But not everyone believed Maupertuis at first. His idea seemed complex and even mysterious to the scientists of the time. Fortunately, other geniuses like Euler and Lagrange took this idea and proved he was right. The result? One of the most elegant ideas in physics. Now think about this. Whenever something moves in the world, whether it's a star in the sky or a stone rolling down a hill, remember that the universe is doing magical calculations to keep everything efficient and balanced. Cool, huh? Now the story gets even more exciting. Two mathematical geniuses, Leonhard Euler and Joseph-Louis Lagrange, took the concept of the principle of action and turned it into a revolutionary tool. They achieved something that seemed impossible, creating a method to solve virtually any problem in physics. Think about it. While Maupertuis had the idea that nature seeks the most efficient path, Euler and Lagrange found a way to turn this idea into calculations that explain super complex movements. It's like they invented a magic calculator capable of solving puzzles that even Newton's laws couldn't easily explain. Euler started using a technique called integrals, which is like adding up very small pieces of a movement to figure out the complete behavior of an object, even if it's speeding up or changing direction. Then came Lagrange, who took everything to another level. He showed that by using the principle of action, it was possible to solve more complicated problems, like understanding how something spins, oscillates, or moves along non-obvious paths. Want an example? Imagine assembling a giant jigsaw puzzle. Using Newton's laws, you'd have to fit each piece manually, which could take forever. But with Lagrange's method, it's as if the puzzle starts assembling itself. A much simpler and more efficient solution. What's even more incredible is that this breakthrough opened doors to solve problems that once seemed unsolvable. Today, Euler and Lagrange's ideas are used in everything from designing rockets to understanding how planets orbit stars. Isn't it amazing to think that thanks to these two geniuses, we can uncover such profound secrets of the universe? Now imagine needing to solve a super complicated problem, like predicting the motion of a double pendulum, those with two arms that move unpredictably. If you tried to use only Newton's laws, it would be like assembling a toy with tons of tiny parts without a manual. Possible, but it would give you a major headache. That's where the principle of least action shines. Instead of dealing with forces and directions all the time, it lets you use a simpler concept: energies. For example, the energy an object has when it's stationary or moving. It's like swapping a heavy, complicated tool for a super practical, multifunctional one. Everything becomes more efficient and easier to understand. Want a curious example? Imagine objects moving in circles, like planets around stars, or complex systems where many parts are connected, like that double pendulum. With the principle of least action, you don't have to worry about every small interaction. It solves the problem for you, like a brilliant trick working hard behind the scenes. And the most incredible part, This method also works for designing systems with many moving parts, like industrial machines, satellites in orbit, and even the joints in the human body. It's as if the universe gave you a secret tool to simplify the impossible. So next time you see something moving in a seemingly complicated way, remember, physics has a trick up its sleeve, and it's so efficient it turns chaos into simplicity. Now we come to the most special part, what the principle of least action can teach us about learning and growth. Imagine the universe as a giant puzzle. Each scientist over the centuries discovered a new piece and fit it into the right place. This process shows us something incredible. Knowledge doesn't appear all at once. It grows slowly, step by step, built with patience and curiosity. Think about learning to ride a bike. At first, you need training wheels to avoid falling. Then, someone holds you while you try to balance. Little by little, you gain confidence and can ride on your own. The same happened with the principle of least action. It started with a simple idea and was refined by great minds like Fermat, Maupertuis, Euler, and Lagrange, until it became one of science's most powerful tools. Curious? Science is like that. Every discovery, no matter how small, is like a puzzle piece that joins others, forming a bigger and clearer picture. And the most amazing part? This process never ends. There's always more to learn and explore. What the universe teaches us with its efficiency is something we can apply to life. Take small steps but never stop moving forward. Just as the principle of least action reveals the most efficient path, continuous learning takes us further than we ever imagined. After all, even the greatest achievements start with a first step. And you know what's even cooler? You can do this too. Learning a little every day might seem small now, but over time, it makes a huge difference. Just as the universe uses the least action to work most efficiently, you can apply the principle of least action to life. Study a little, practice a little, and before you know it, you'll be doing great things. After all, the secret to success lies in constant effort and continuous learning.